Hey, what's up, everybody? All right, so I got a lot to talk about tonight, and it all is going to involve the United States MRE. Reason for that, I'll come back to this in just a little bit, but reason for that is I had a really interesting conversation with a with a really nice guy from Natick this week, and we talked at length about the MRE in general, and I'm trying to dig up some information on those three food packet cold weathers that B Temple had sent to me. And you guys, if you haven't checked out B Temple's channel, you got to do that. Links in my description. But he actually didn't know anything about them right off the top of his head, and he has been in and around Natick for a really long time. It's kind of one of those rations that slipped under the radar, it seems like. I spoke with MRE I'll about them as well, but I won't get into that right now. And we'll figure out which one of these I'm going to have. This is spaghetti over here, and this is a brisket. This is a fresh MRE. This is a not so fresh MRE, but I do believe that this will be in good shape. And I'll tell you why when we get to that here in a minute. Now, another question you might have is why I have all this other stuff out on my table. And I don't have a really good reason for that, other than the fact I just wanted to say thanks to everybody who sent in this cool stuff. This hat right here, I was wearing this earlier today, but this hat, Shocker sent to me like 3 years ago, along with that patch, I believe. This is the one he sent me, or maybe it was this one. No, it was this one. So with this patch, and may have just been that patch that he sent along with the hat. But I stuck the American flag on there. Oh, CT, eat the brisket. You deserve a fresh ration. Yeah, I've actually been thinking the same thing. Well, thank you for that super chat, dude. And I have actually been thinking, like, maybe I should just take a break from eating older stuff that has kind of wreaked havoc on my gut over the past couple weeks, and go for something a little fresher. It's crazy because something in that poutine, which I didn't eat the main. I didn't eat the main, but I must have contaminated my hands, or some of the other food got contaminated. I didn't really think that it would through the packaging because the packaging is so sturdy, but I ended up being pretty sick for about a week, like 5 or 6 days. I wouldn't say sick. I just had the stomach issues. But wanted to kind of lay out. I don't. This is not all of them. I have a Gundog sticker up there. I have like a couple old ration shops that are no longer around, stickers that are still around on my stuff up here, and then here's the. Oh, some of this stuff I didn't take down. It's just a little harder to put up. The Canadian flag sticker that Smitty sent along when he sent his. You guys check out Smitty's channel also. I don't have a link to him in my description, so you'll have to just type in and look up that right there, Smitty's MRE reviews. That should get you to where you need to be. Now, before I go, oh yeah, Fireman Food sent me one of his California Department of Forestry patches a long time ago, which is super awesome. Fireman Food. He's no longer called Fireman Food on here. His name, if you see him pop up, he'll have like little fire trucks that says canceled, 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 I believe. He had a YouTube channel for a good while, and he deleted it. Deleted everything on there with good reason. He had his reasons. So I have two boxes here. One from Aletha and Jay, and one from Miss Rachael Sunshine, right here. Now this one, this is the reason that I went and checked the mail today. I had no idea that this was going to be in the mail. I don't know if it was mentioned at some point. She did mention it, and I don't know, grazed over it or forgot about it or something. What's up? I see K-Man's in there. There's Miss Rachael Sunshine. She's in there. Zeno, what's up? What's up, Karsten? Okay, Aletha changed her name to Hanging with Aletha and Jay. That's cool. Tyler N. Let's see. I've got an idea brewing in my head too about something we can do on the live streams here to make them a little more interactive. If you guys would be into something like that, and we'll talk about that here in a minute. But I'm going to get now this one. That's what I started talking about. The reason I went to the post office today to check the mail, because typically I wouldn't go on a Saturday, was because Rachael said that there's something in here that is time sensitive. So that is why I went and checked the mail today. I did not think it was going to be in there because she told me not yesterday, but the day before that she mailed it out, which would have been June 4th. And today is D-Day, and it's also my son's birthday is June 6th. So, yeah, he's actually working all day today for his birthday. But I'm going to open up Rachel's second. I'm going to open it next. I'm going to open up Aletha and Jay's first. Let's do this. What's up, Bob? Bob has made it. When I seen this box right here, I saw that I haven't gotten a Minotaur box like this yet. So I was like, okay, so I thought Renee had sent out the box of stuff that I ordered from Minotaur, which there is a link to Minotaur Trading Company and MRE Nation right at the top of my description. Use your code OS10, and that lets them track how many folks I send over that way, and you also get a discount out of that. And it's just it's a way for me to get to pass on some savings to you guys. So, what am I doing? I just said I was going to open up Aletha's first. I'm scatterbrained. Sorry. What's up, Bus Stop? All right, let's get this thing opened up. Try not to make any idle time on this live stream. I'm going to try to keep it moving as much as I possibly can. People that watch these things later, I get comments and complaints all the time. So if you're watching this later, this is actually a live video where I interact with the chat, which is running across the screen right now. And that's why these are long, and that's why they are kind of odd to rewatch back, because I'm interacting with the folks that I'm talking to live as I'm doing this live stream. So, but I get comments all the time like, "Oh, that's boring," or "Oh, what are you talking about?" Like, people are not watching the chat, or because you can always rewatch the live chat. But I don't know. People click on them; they don't understand what a live stream is, and I get kind of dumb comments. So, and yes, I did say dumb comments. Like, figure it out, people. If you feel so strongly that you have to leave a negative comment about something like that, I'm not a negative comment leaver. If I don't like a video, I just click off of it. Or if I don't like someone in general, someone's content, I just click off of it. It's that simple. To me. I mean, maybe it isn't to everyone. But unless it's maybe someone doing something offensive, which I don't think I do anything offensive, but maybe I do. Maybe I do. To some folks, I may be offensive, I guess. So maybe I should take that into consideration. Anyways, here we go. This is from Aletha and Jay. And it looks like we have... I'm going to pull that out right now. Glance over it, see if it's something I should read or not. Let's see. Went through my mom's things and thought you would like this stuff. Okay, hang on. Okay, the beer is new, but the candy bars are made about 75 miles away from me. Okay, so the beer is new, but the candy bars are made about 75 miles away from me. She said she went through her mother's things, and they thought that I would like this stuff. So let's check out what we have here. Some packaging there, and there is another box inside a box. So let me grab that, and let me grab this, which I'm guessing is the brewski. All right. Whoop! Almost dropped the box on the camera. Okay. You all right, dude? Don't start that. Poor guy. Oh, focus. Down here. There we go. Sometimes I guess I have to touch the screen. I don't need the knife for this, looks like. Well, maybe I do. Maybe I don't. Maybe I do. Maybe I do. There we go. The beer is new. Okay. Let's see what we have here. Good way to package this, by the way. Shipping cans of anything is tough, and I know that. Sometimes they make it, and sometimes they don't. All right. Okay. Palmer Candy Company. What? What? Palmer Candy Company. Fersen Brewing Company. Twin Bing Stout. This is a beer made by a candy company. That is awesome. That is such a... It's cool to see that right on the label, because a lot of manufacturers, if they were going to make something like this, would hide that fact, I think. Or I feel like they probably would. So Palmer, I know Palmer Candy Company. Very familiar with that. Interesting. Pastry stout with chocolate, lactose, vanilla, cherry puree, and raspberry puree. 8.8% alcohol by volume. That is a stout brew. Brewed and canned by Fersens. Am I saying that right? Fersens Brewing Company, Sioux Falls, South Dakota. That is awesome. I'll bet you that is going to taste really good. It's pastry stout with chocolate, lactose, vanilla, cherry puree, and raspberry puree. So this is going to be like a fruity, chocolate-covered cherry mixed with raspberry. Like that. Okay, I'm going to look in the comments here while I'm... Whoa, Cyanide Cookies is here. Hey! Old Smitty broke his leg. Yeah, he was in bad shape. Or his leg looked pretty bad. Have you guys ever had this? I'm talking to Aletha and Jay now and see what they think. What's up, Dub C? And Miss Marilyn? Miss Marilyn is wonderful, by the way. Tracy Phillips will agree. You guys have not had this. Well, I've got to get that cold and have that on a live stream. I hate to open it, to be quite honest. Like, that is just such a cool shelf piece in itself. But I'm probably going to have to open that just because it sounds really tasty. And I'm not a big beer guy. Like, I'm not... Most beers to me are very similar in flavor. If they're, just a beer without being something special like this. Or you get, your dark beers that are thick and stuff. I'm not a huge fan of those. If I'm going to drink a beer, it's most likely going to be a Bud Light and something that'll go down easy and smooth. But let's see what's in this box here as well. Uh-oh. Whoa, that matches the beer. Check that out. That is cool. Palmer Candy Company. Nutty Chocolate Cherry Treat. So they are, like, into the cherries. Is this a raspberry one, I wonder? Nope, it's cherry as well. I wonder if they're into that. Like, or obviously they're making some sort of cherry. I gotta try one of these out. What is this? What is this? Butternut roasted and blended coffee? What? This is a really cool can. Anything that... Oh, it's also made by the Coca-Cola Company. The Foods Division. I have a couple other things that are made by Coca-Cola Food Division. I don't know where they're at right off the top of my head, but yeah, I've came across a few and collected them over the years. Let's see what this says. This is a 6-cup size of butternut roast and blended coffee. Guarantees you the ultimate in rich, robust coffee flavor. Use 6 6-ounce serving. Oh, okay, 6-ounce serving cups. A cup is 8 ounces. I never have understood, but Typically with coffee, I've noticed that a lot of times they go with a 6-ounce cup. Whoa, cyanide cookies, man. Good to see you, Smokey. Can't stay long. I'm at work. Hope, hope, hope you keep a good close eye on the mail, mate. Whoa. Well, I do, man. I check the mail quite regularly, and I will definitely do that, man. Thank you so much for the super chat, dude. You did not have to do that, man. I appreciate you, Dan. Hope you're doing good over there in Australia. I know it's been crazy all over the world. Okay, let's. I wanted to read the rest of this real quick. Cups of water per tin. Okay, so I want you to use 6-ounce cups. This one grind, all purpose, works with any brewing methods as follows: the percolator or the drip method. Brew time should be between 4 and 6 minutes. Pot should be set on low heat while brewing. Vacuum method. Hold this coffee in upper bowl for 3 minutes over a low flame, then stir and turn off. Butternut is a registered trademark for products of... Wow, Butternut, they actually trademarked Butternut. Isn't like butternut squash? So that's crazy. And this was made in Houston. I'm super into this can. This is really cool. I got to figure out how old it is. I know that right there will tell me something. That K will tell me something. And looking at the seam of the can, that's going to tell me something as well. And it's a steel can. It's not aluminum. So that might tell me a little bit of something too. But I definitely want to dig in to this and see what exactly the age on that is. Man, that's really cool. I got to get into one of those here in a second too. Looks like get my fingers in there. Ugh. Wow, that is freaking awesome. Doubled up on the butternut roasted coffee. That is so cool. I'm curious if she didn't like this coffee after she bought it, your mom, because I assume that's where these came from. 1.55 ounces. Or if it was just forgotten about, or she got a bunch of it, drank a bunch of it, and forgot about it. One of those is going on the shelf, and the other one's going to get tried. I gotta say, I'm going to guess this is probably... We're looking at probably right around the mid-70s. That's a guess now. I'm not labeling that as a mid-70s just yet. But I'm taking a guess. Smokey, my mom owned a bar. These were in the bar. Oh, okay. That's awesome. Yeah, these were... So, did she have these, like, on display? I'm curious. Or were these actually something she used at one point, I wondered? Because a lot of times people put like little miniatures. So they were on display then, it sounds like. Or she drank it. My dad probably got them for her. Okay, so she probably had these on display then. Because anybody who actually looks into this, looks at it just for just a second, sees that it was made by the Coca-Cola Foods division. And that in itself makes it rather collectible. And then so many people are into like the little miniatures, which this is not exactly technically a miniature or anything. This is just a small batch or a small serving, but a lot of people like these little cans. We did on the show, we had a can of ham, of freeze dried ham from like I think it was like 1962 or 64 or something like that. It was freeze-dried little cubed ham, and it was in a can about this size. And we opened that up, and it was perfect. It tasted like bacon. It was awesome. Let's see what else we have. We have something else in here as well. Yep. Okay. I think I need to be careful here. Seems like. Oh, whoa. Oh, no way. That is really unique. That is super cool. It has to do with the smokes Is there a latch on there? Let me see here. I don't want to break it. Okay. There's something in there. Oh, no way. That is cool. Look at the little mini cigars. Wow. Little porcelain cigars. 100%. I think it's supposed to say tobacco. Yeah, tobacco. Blue Man Cigarellos Authentico. Yeah, this is really, really cool, man. That is so cool, man. Thank you guys so much for that. That is awesome. The detail on these little cigars is really cool. Let me get you a close-up. That looks like a real leaf on there. It's got like the discoloration, the way a leaf would. Drier spots, darker and lighter spots. That is so awesome. Yes, that is super cool. Hang on. Oh, there's a star in here too. I was part of our American flag. I flew proudly. The sun and elements have caused me to become faded, tattered, and torn. I am no longer proud to fly. Carry me as a reminder that I am not forgotten. That is interesting. Any idea? Okay, so what's the significance of the star? Which flag? Do you have any idea where it came from? I have a couple flags that flew on a chopper in Desert Storm. I've got them put up in a box. Yeah, what? I don't want to put this. This has got to stay out. That is so cool. This is going up on the shelf along with see, this goes right along with the other stuff that. What did I do with it? The other stuff that I have sent in. I rounded up stuff because I had things spread out, and displayed up. But like this goes right along with other stuff, which a lot of these are the patches that I have right here. But I have things like stickers and little trinkets and whatnot that I've gotten over the years from folks that have sent them in, and I keep them all. I mean, I think it's awesome. Of course, that I'd never not keep something like that. That is so cool, man. I've got to find a really good display for that. I wonder how old that is. I've never seen anything like that. I gotta say, I've never seen anything like that. This is World War II. Sounds like. Okay, great uncles. Let me read back here. Let's see. There's one more thing. In that bag? Wait, did I miss something in the box? Oh, nope, I think I feel something in the bag. Hang on. Nope. Wait a minute. Nope, I don't think I missed it. I don't think I missed anything. I just read across the question asking about season 2. The international premiere of Eating History is supposed to be coming up probably within the next week or two. Going to play. I'm not sure where all it's going to play. I know they had some things talking about some interviews in England and stuff, but other than that, like that's all I know so far. Oh, okay, it was the Star. Good deal. So I got it. The Star and the cigars. Let's set right there. One of those. One of those. Wait. There we go. Let's do it like that. Okay. Nope. Yep. And one of these set right there. Alright, now I gotta try one of these. Since you sent 4 of them, I'm digging into one of these right now. See what these look like. Oh, whoa, that is not what I expected. Ooh, it smells really good. It's kind of like a granola bar looking deal. Let me see what all is going on inside this thing before I dig right into it. I don't have any allergies, so it doesn't matter. Peanuts, corn syrup. What are they described as? Just nutty chocolate cherry treat. Is there actually a cherry inside of there? Oh, look at that. All right, down the hatch with this. That reminds me of like the Valentine's boxes of chocolates, kind of. The peanuts are actually salty too, which adds another dimension to it when you get a little bit of that salt kicking through the chocolate. I actually don't pick up much on the cherry. But the chocolate itself is really good. Smells like really good chocolate too. Smells amazing. Yeah, these are pretty good. It's different. Not anything like what I expected to open it up and see. Okay. On to this Rachael Sunshine's box. Let me put this note with my other notes. There we go. Alright. Let's see what we have here. I think I already cut the ends on it. Thought I did. There we go. Chocolate all over my fingers because I ripped it apart instead of just biting into it. Thought I cut it. Two local brewery IPA. Instead of reading the note, because this is going to describe to me what's in here, let me just let's just get into this, and then we'll go from there. I'll double check myself. Ooh, that's an interesting labeled can. Catterskill IPA, a soft and balanced IPA, dry hopped with Citra, Mosaic. Yeah, I don't know. Azaka and Columbus. Brewed in the heart of the Catskills on a 127-acre historic dairy farm. We focus on local foraged ingredients and brew with only our pure mountain well water. Well water can be good and it can be bad, but that is an interesting looking can for sure. Westkill Brewing, independent craft. Guess this would be considered a tall boy. India Pale Ale, and this is a 6%er. That probably won't knock me on my butt quite as bad as the other one, but by volume here, we're probably talking about the same amount. If I drank both of those back to back, I'd pretty much be lit up. Let's see, what else? I think this is the same thing, isn't it? Yes, it is, I think. Citric Mosaic. I believe these are the same. They are. Okay. Didn't want to miss one. There we go. Whoop. Okay. What is this? Oh, chorizo. Spanish-inspired dry sausage. I've never had it like this before. I'll bet it smells awesome. It just looks like it smells awesome. This is like super authentic. It's got the little rope in there to hang it, dry it. I wonder how long this is aged. Let me see if it says. Let's see. A lot of times it'll say ingredients are just pork, salt, Spanish paprika, garlic, dextrose, lactic acid, and a starter culture. Or maybe lactic acid starter culture is all one word there. Wow, this is pretty calorie dense. I mean, it's kind of heavy. Well, it's 7 ounces. That's not too bad. There's a lot of calories in that. Holy cow. That would be, what, 1,000, let's see, 20, 1,080 calories in less than 8 ounces. Or is that 70 ounce? That's 7 ounces, right? Yeah, that's 7 ounces. So that's less weight than a US MRE main right there. So you talk about an ultimate survival type food would be something like this. You pack that many calories and that little amount of weight, and it's good. It's here. It says until let's see, what is that? September 28th of 2021. So probably good longer than that. But this is the final thing in the box: the Piggery Bacon Jam. I am not gonna lie, that looks pretty gross. Let me give it a shake. Maybe that's what it needs. Okay, there it is, shaking up. Still looking sloshy. For your son for his birthday, Smokey. Hope you're well, my friend. Well, thank you so much, man. I will pass that along to him. History Savior. Dude, well, thank you, man. Sniffs deep. What? Hey, Smokey, do you think a moon pie from the 70s would be good if you find one? Rod Garage, that's a good question. A moon pie would definitely still be edible unless it was so hard that you couldn't chew it. I have, I think I talked about this the last live stream, but I had some Twinkies from, I think they were, I want to say they were from the 90s, like early 90s, maybe even late 80s. I can't remember exactly. But what had happened to that Twinkie was, first of all, it had completely changed its color and gotten really, really dark in all aspects. But now the cream was still white on the inside. It had dried up, but it was white. And that was interesting to me. But basically, the Twinkie turned into a hard cookie. And it was still a little bit spongy, like a spongy, like stale cookie when you tried to chew it up. But the taste wasn't bad. It didn't taste anything like a Twinkie anymore. It just tasted like a cookie, like a stale cookie. Kind of had a little bit of an old flavor to it, which is a hard description to give. I would imagine, like, saying, when I say old flavor, I think like the smell of an old school book or an old book that you pick up and like flip through the pages and you can smell it, like the wind that comes off of when you flip, that smell. So that's one of the things that I think of when I describe the flavor of something that tastes old. But this, let's see what's going on with this. Let's made with New York pasteurized pork, or pasture pork. Focus. There we go. Okay, so what should I do with this? Is this just something you just put on toast? I mean, they're calling it jam, but I have a feeling that it's probably a little more inclusive than that. You'll have to fill me in on exactly how this is supposed to be eaten. Taste it? Okay. I can do that. Let me clear up a spot here, and I gotta move. Thank you for the beers and whatnot. That, need to open that and check that out. These will have to. I gotta get these cold. I can't. I mean, I could drink a hot beer. Yeah. Nobody likes a hot beer. This is going to be awesome. I just have a feeling that's going to have some really interesting flavors going on. All right, let me consolidate here. Whew. Bacon jam. All right. Okay, I got it. I heard a hiss too. that smells interesting. You know what? I'll try that with the meal because I need a cracker or something, something to put that on. I'm not just gonna eat that. It smells pickled. It smells very vinegary. Let me smell it again. Whew, yeah. It smells very fatty and very pickle, like vinegar. Whoops. Okay. Wanted to double check. I thought I missed a super chat. I did not. Okay. Love these coffees too. Super, super cool. That's gotta keep a spot out here. There we go. Okay. This also, but let me get. Alright. So here we go. Meal selection time. I have a 2015, the 43rd day of 2015. So to me, this is a fresh MRE. This is plenty fresh. Even though it's 5 years old now, that is nuts. You know, I remember getting this MRE. Shocker sent me this MRE for like, I think he sent it to me for my birthday, like probably 3 or 4 years ago. I'm trying to think, because this thing was fresh when I got it. I remember, like, because he sent me 2015s, and I was like, oh man, these are like the freshest MREs I've had my hands on. And they weren't very old at the time. But now, back then, and I know that sounds like I'm talking like it was a long time ago. I mean, it was a while ago. But back then, getting your hands on an MRE that was anything less than 2 years old, then you felt like you had something. Like you were really doing something. Now, it seems like the more our community grows and we press for it, and guys that are in the service and they'll get their hands on fresh ones, they'll get them out to us in the collector community and in the MRE ration community. We're seeing fresher and fresher rations get into the review community especially. And I've seen fresher ones hitting the market on eBay as well. So it's not just a review, but the review community does get their hands on stuff a little bit earlier, it seems like, because we try. To quote Gabe, brisket immediately. Okay, brisket, man. You guys are trying to take it easy on me, I guess. You know, I don't think that I've ever reviewed a spaghetti with meat sauce. Never once. Oh, by the way, thanks for the super chat, Smitty. Jeez, dude, you didn't have to do that, man. Yeah, you guys got to check out Smitty's channel, by the way. I had his little sticker there that he sent me one time. I guess I was actually kind of wanting to do the spaghetti just because I've never reviewed one before, and I don't even know what year this one is. I do remember getting this one and buying this one. This is I bought this probably about 5 years ago now, and I bought it in a lot of 3 or 4, and this is the only one that I have left from that. And the other ones that I had out of that, I gave a couple away. I ate a couple. I think I bought 5 from that lady. It was a lady selling them on eBay, and I think I ended up buying 5 of them. And I ate 2. I think I gave 2 away. But both the ones that I had were in really good shape. So I have a feeling that this one's going to be in really good shape, which it looks really nice. It still even looks case fresh, even though I know it's been out of the case for at least about 5 years. So I'm not even sure what would be in this, other than spaghetti, obviously. Brisket as a main is pretty good. I feel like it's one of those menus that a lot of people, you either really like it or you really dislike it. The middle ground, I feel like there's not too many people that are like, yeah, it's okay. You know, it's one of those things, you either love it or you hate it. Some people might fall in the middle ground, but not as many. So I guess I'm going with the brisket, even though I was thinking spaghetti, guys. All right. Are you sure that you guys want to see a fresh MRE? Because I'll gladly talk about the fresh MRE. I just bought veggie chips that smell like stale MREs. What? Okay. Your old pal Fernbark is here. What's up, man? Kalen says spaghetti. All right, I've changed everyone's mind to spaghetti. It looks like. Okay. Well, I'll tell you what. If spaghetti's not any good, then we can always come back to the brisket. And I did want to talk about a fresh MRE just for a minute, while I have it sitting here at least, because I mentioned very early on in this live stream in the very beginning that I had a really long conversation, like I don't know, it was at least probably over an hour, maybe even longer. Oh, Horny Animal says brisket. Okay. Brisket, brisket, brisket. Everybody's wanting to do the brisket. And Miss Marilyn says that if the spaghetti is bad, not to eat it. So, I'll go in. Oh, wow. Yeah, so they trademarked the MRE logo there. That is trademarked. Did not know that. I guess I've never paid any attention. I don't know. I just didn't care. But yeah, you cannot put that on a t-shirt without infringing on their trademark. Anyway, so I was on the phone with this really, really cool guy. Let me, coveted bacon jam and chorizo from the piggery. The bacon jam is great on burgers and grilled cheese. Please enjoy and let me know what you think. These are all local items. Okay, so this is all that stuff that Rachel sent is local stuff to her, and she says that that's good on that the bacon stuff is good on a burger or a grilled cheese. I will try that on a grilled cheese because that'll be really easy for me to slap together as a quick grilled cheese. Okay, now, yeah, I kind of agree. Kind of look like they're in a POW camp or something. I totally see what you're talking about there. I don't even know that that's what you were talking about, but I just glanced down, and that this particular bag style, which there are 3 different bag styles to the new era of MRE, which is 2008 and up. What? What is it? Fernbark says his spaghetti was pretty boring. The noodles were gush. Yeah, that's going to be every single shelf-stable spaghetti. You're talking Chef Boyardee or anything like that. It's the noodles are going to be, because of how much they have to cook all the ingredients together for it to kind of have that infused flavor. The noodles are kind of going to be like that every single time. But I was talking to the fella, and I didn't realize, nor did I know, because this is insight that I would have never had I not called and physically talked to someone over the phone like I did. And I've got to call them back on Monday, or it'll probably be Tuesday, because I have this doctor's appointment thing on Monday that's going to take supposedly all day. But anyway, I was talking to him, and there's a couple guys that work there in the food department that actually watch YouTube reviews. And it was really strange, because as soon as he picked up the phone and I started talking to him, within a couple minutes, I started to tell him what I was doing, like, because he was asking me if I was doing research, and I was like, yeah, man, I'm making a YouTube video trying to do the research. And hang on just 1 second, and I'll answer that super chat there. And he was like, is this Oldsmokey? And I'm like, oh yeah, that's who I am. And he's like, oh, I was just watching your show, because he had his phone forwarded. They've probably all been sent home for quite some time. So his office phone was forwarded home. Who is meowing? Where's that coming from? What the heck? Kitty? Anyway, he had it forwarded to his house, his work phone. And I guess he had recorded the show and just been watching it. because he recognized my voice from the TV show. He was like, "Oh yeah, I thought that was your voice. I wasn't sure." He's like, "You sounded familiar." I was like, "Okay." So cool. But he was telling me that a few of the guys actually do watch. Oh yeah, let me go back to Miss Rachel Sunshine's super chat that I skipped over there, and then I'll come back to the story about some Natick stuff. Put the jam in the refrigerator after you taste it. Hope you like it as much as I do. Well, I will let you know for sure, and I'll try it on a cracker. Is that okay to try it just on a cracker, you think? Tonight, with I'm sure one of these will have some sort of bread product in it. Blindside is also here. Thank you for the super chat, Miss Rachel. And let's see. Howdy, y'all. Hope everyone is well. And nope, I'm not dead. I've been busy, sadly. Sorry for being late. Just got done putting up a ceiling fan. Well, we're glad you're here, buddy. Thank you for showing up. We appreciate your company, man. Um, so spaghetti didn't come into the MRE lineup until 1988, which I thought that it had been around longer than that, which it was an MCI menu, and it was around in World War II. Some of the meat cans, the M unit cans, were spaghetti because Chef Boyardee was actually, they were providing uh, spaghetti, they were providing meatballs, they were providing stuff like that during World War II. I know that. So spaghetti has been around on and off, but it has been around consistently. I don't know about 2020, but up until 2019, all the way from 1988. So we're talking what, 21 years solid. Every year it's been in there, and uh, it was menu number 5 for a really long time until it got bumped to menu number 20, which was in I think 2014 or 2013, one or the other. And it's been around for a really, really long time. Brisket, on the other hand, has not really been around all that long. Brisket, I think, is a great menu. This is something that has to. This used to be somewhat of a throwaway cut of meat. But I was talking to that guy. I'll mention his first name. Let me double check. I don't want to say the wrong name. Real quick here. Well, maybe I will. Okay, yeah, David. I was talking to David that works at Natick, and him and a couple of the guys, not everybody in there, but they watched some YouTube reviews, and they actually they do care about the image that the MRE has, because he was telling me, especially with the way YouTube is now and the way, because these are kids that are going into the military, and a lot of those kids have seen videos about MREs when they're coming into the military. A lot of them will look them up just because they're going into the military and they know that they're going to have to eat them at some point. Because when you're going through training, they're going to make you eat some sort of, maybe it's a TOTM or whatever, but tailored operational training meal or something like that at some point, whether or not you get out in the field and you have these issued to you or not. But most of the guys that get these are in the Army and the Marines. The ones that are going out and actually having to be away from some sort of a solid field kitchen, or the barracks where there's actually a kitchen. So, or a galley, I should say. I think a galley's only on a boat. We always call it a galley on the boat. Anyway, he was telling me how the MRE they've been noticing that it kind of has a bad reputation, which it's kind of always had a bad reputation. Let's just be honest. Like, the MRE kind of has a stigma around it of it, meals rarely edible, and all these other acronyms that go along with the MRE, and some other ones that I won't mention. But he said, they come in with a bad taste in their mouth when they've never even had them, and he was adamant about the fact that they care about that and they don't want that to be the case. And Also, something that we talked about was I'm sitting here, or I'm whatever. I'm standing here getting ready to eat a field ration in my house. This is not what they were designed for. This is not typically how your appetite would be. And a lot of the guys that are eating these things, not all of them, but most of them, I'm going to say 90% of them are younger guys. Younger guys that are burning a lot of calories, super, super active. And if you're being issued these, then you're definitely getting your workout through the day. You're burning those 4,000 calories. So to change that image with what we're doing and what we've been doing, because typically I don't bash a ration. I mean, unless it's really bad, then I'm not going to. And I asked him specifically about the spinach fettuccine. I was like, okay. I was like, we're standing here, we're talking about how you want the menus to be appealing and you have wanted to be good. I was like, well, how did spinach fettuccine fly through the radar? How did that thing get in there as an actual menu that's been around now for what, 4 years? I think it's 4 years. I think it came around in 2016. So he's like, well, that's one of the vegetarian options, and he's like, it hasn't gotten a lot of bad feedback, which I'll be honest, I don't know how it hasn't. I haven't met anybody or seen anybody that actually liked it, especially if you're a vegetarian. You're looking, I would think, for a good hearty meal. And then again, a vegetarian's going to crave the vegetarian side of their meal. So maybe the spinach is the kicker that they really like. But in my opinion, there's other better vegetarian options out there. And he said that the cheese tortellini, that one's been a big hit as far as the vegetarian meals go. And I thought it's just interesting to know that they're actually seeing some of these videos that are out there and talking about it in the production of the warfighter food. So it's something I've always wondered. It's some insight that I gained that I've always been curious about whether or not those guys would actually see any of the videos that are up. I don't know how long they've been watching, but I know at this point they've actually seen them. Some of them. I'm sure they've watched a good bit of Steve's, because Steve is the one that pops up everywhere. And if you guys don't know who Steve 1989 is, I'd say most of you guys do, if not all of you. There's a link to his channel right down in my description as well. Got to go check out his channel. His videos are obviously really good. But yeah, man, I just thought it was super cool trying to find out some backstory information, some solid information about some rations that I have, and getting to talk to him. And I'm going to get to talk to him again and spend a little bit of time maybe on like a group conversation is what I'm going to try to make happen, where I get to pick a couple other guys' brains at the same time. And I look forward to getting to do that because, again, I think it's cool that we get to dig into these things and give our opinions, but what really matters is what those guys think that are out in the field. And every time I do something like this, I try to take into the account that this isn't just your normal everyday food. This is food that tons and tons and tons of work, science, passion, all kinds of things have went into that make these meals presentable and make them. They care how they taste. They care how they look. They care how what the feedback is on them. And it's, again, that's important to these folks that are working there, and I think that's great that they actually care, and that they're putting the time in to try to make them as good as they can for the guys that have to eat these things. And when you eat one of these, if you're a ration reviewer, or you're just a person who likes to eat rations, and you're in this community, you gotta always take into account the fact that we're not exactly, most of the time we're not eating these things in a situation where you would typically be in, where you would have to eat something like this, unless you've been out hiking and camping or something like that. Outside of something like that, or a survival situation, then you're just having fun with these things. So you got to put yourself in the mindset these meals are intended to be eaten in a situation where you're you're hungry. First of all, like you're starving most likely. You've been out all day. Oh, on whatever mission you've been on, and you get 3 meals randomly. And we talked about the fact that we don't have the breakfast and lunches like, can't, like, for instance, a lot of other countries have breakfast, like solid breakfast items, and we just don't. Like, we do have the maple sausage patty, but there's only one of those in a case. Actually, there's only one of those in 2 cases. Case A and B, there's only one maple sausage patty. And there's only one, is the sausage gravy still a menu? I don't know. Anyways, I should have mentioned, I read the date code of this already. It's made by MRE I'll Packaging Company. The date on it was 5043. So this is a 2015. Did get this from Shocker71. You guys go check out Shocker's channel. And the famous, or whatever, double bagged system that MRE I'll follows. And I want to ask them more about that as well, because I actually got to speak with someone at MRE I'll. I'm going to call them back again, and I want to talk to them about this and see what their reasoning and theory is behind having this second bag like this. Did they just expect the guys to ditch just the outside bag and keep this like this, or is this something for adding a little bit longer shelf life? Because I think that the double bag system, especially when it's virtually vacuum packed like this one is going to add some shelf life to this ration. Let's see what's in this particular meal. This is, like, again, this is a 2015 brisket. First out of here, we get our brisket with our sleeve gravy with seasoned beef brisket slices. I guess I'll put that on top right there. What else do we get? Garlic mashed potatoes. Yuck. Not a fan of these. I feel like most of the time when I get these, they're way overdone with the garlic. But, you know, typically with a ration, they try to keep the flavors pretty light so that any guy could eat it. And that's not the case with the mashed potatoes. We have an Irish cream cappuccino. I have not seen one of these in a while, and I'm looking forward to that. Yum. I really do enjoy the Irish cream cappuccinos. They're really good. Uh-oh. We got a busted peanut butter here. I'm guessing it's the peanut butter that's busted. Anyways, we got a peanut butter. I'm not even going to worry about getting the date code off of that thing. You guys, I'm sure you don't care at this point anyway. We have an oatmeal chocolate chunk cookie. 290 calories in that thing. Goodness gracious. Noticing no crackers. So we got wheat snack bread. What else we got in there? Oh, apple jelly. Yum. Haven't seen that in a while. Here's our garlic mashed potatoes card. Let's see, we got 130 calories in those. Put that right there. Here's our partially biodegradable MRE spoon. Just going to stick that right back here with the rest of my unopened MRE spoons. And throw out an open one. Here we have a beverage-based raspberry. This is actually really good. No coffee, though. Well, that sucks. I guess we have the Irish cream cappuccino. And last but not least in there, we have a flameless ration heater. My fingers are all greasy from that busted peanut butter. Alright, I'm going to heat up the mashed potatoes and brisket. And I think that's it, right? Yep, that's it, and I'll be right back. Okay. Ugh, let's see here. Break out the old tray. As you can see, there's a little oil from the peanut butter. Leaked out on the mashed potato card. Mashed taters. That sucks. The peanut butter's busted. I'm sure it's fine to eat though. There we go. Oatmeal cookie. Wheat snack bread. Cappuccino. Let's see what's in our accessory packet here. You got your chiclet style gum there. Alright. If anybody wants to see a video of the Army National Guard patrolling the city, I camp out. Check. Okay, cool. Yeah. You camping out and watching the National Guard being weird. Yeah. There's the raspberry drink. We got some iodized salt. We got a moist towelette. And our U.S. issued butt ration. Or toilet paper. TP. Napkins. Whatever you want to use that for. Oh. So I had a pretty bad fall last night. Walking my dog. And went to the playground like I always do, and usually I turn the big dog loose, which I was going to, but I wanted to walk her up onto the playground equipment, so that's where she would come back to me at, because that's how it's been working. If I let her go somewhere else, she doesn't come back to me. But anyways, so I take her up there, and the dew had already fallen outside. We were up there on this, it's huge playground equipment. It's just like a bunch of platforms you walk on, a bunch of slides that go off of it. So I was just walking on the platforms, and she jerked me just a little bit. I had a hold of her leash, and my feet went out from underneath of me, and I bounced off the railing a couple times, knocked myself out, and or she knocked me out, whatever. And I had my poodle with me, and by the time I got up and was looking around, he was already gone, out of sight. And that's a pretty good little, stretch for him to walk from there back to the house by himself. And he was back at the house, screaming, barking at the door, trying to get somebody to come and help me, I guess. Because it was, I don't know, I got a big bruise on my back. One right there on my arm, which doesn't look too bad, but it is really, really sore. And my neck is really sore. I think I got a little bit of whiplash, because I was trying to prevent my head from hitting the ground so hard, and ended up with a little bit of whiplash, I'm pretty sure. I'm sore today, but not as sore as I thought I was going to be. Thought it was going to be way worse. Tomorrow might be worse. I don't know. I know my leg is feeling pretty bad too. Alright, let me put my fold on there. And I want to go above the recommended amount of water. And I have boiling water here also, which I don't know if you guys have ever tried putting boiling water in one of these and then shaking it, but it's like virtually impossible. So I'm going to put some water in here. I'm going to have to do it off camera because it's so hot. Oh boy. And I'm probably going to put a little bit of cold water in there too. But I'll do this right here real quick and give it a little shake, just to get the powder dissolved. Because that water, I'm telling you guys, is screaming hot. Alright. I'm going to add a little bit of this cold water to it. Not a whole lot, but some. Probably doubled. Guarantee it's still hot though. Alright. Dump it out in the cup, see what it looks like. There we go. Looks like a nice cup of cappuccino, I must say. Alright. Next we will do the just raspberry. Beverage-based raspberry. And as far as the sugar-free drinks go, like, this is really the only one that I like. That I would say that I would prefer over some others. But it's still a sugar-free drink, and I'm not a fan of sugar-free drinks. Not in the slightest. Smells nice. Just so you guys know how I feel about any sugar-free supplement. I feel like it's the risk doesn't equal out for the reward of cutting sugar out. So you know what? I can't remember if that's, I don't think that's a 20 ouncer. I don't think. There it is. Let's see. Let me read the instructions real quick, because I didn't do that. Oh yeah, it is 20 ounces. Huh. Add to a 20-ounce bottle of water. They don't really make 20-ounce bottles of water. They're not as common as they used to be. 20-ounce bottles of water used to be the standard, and now they're all 16.9 ounces. So I'm going to add 16.9 ounces to this. No, I'm not. It's not going to hold 16.9 ounces. There you go. That's all it's going to hold, which is probably only about, I'm going to say 15 ounces probably. So that is going to be one strong drink until I can add some more water to it to level it out. Alright, give it a, there's not much point in stirring it really. It pretty much mixes up on contact with that water. You dump it in quick enough. But I'll tell you what you wouldn't want to do is put this in your Camelback or anything like that, because it will stain it indefinitely. Or maybe a plastic canteen or canteen cup. I have a feeling that it would most likely be staining something like that as well. Can that set right there? Guess it can for now. See the wheat snack bread. Good old classic wheat snack bread there. Smells like wheat snack bread. It smells like dough, really. Wheat snack bread has a very, very doughy scent. Looks like Fred has just showed up. I'm trying to look down at the chat as much as I can, guys. So I assume that the riots are still going on. I thought that was going to end Thursday. It's going to be the last day, but I guess not. There's your oatmeal chocolate chunk cookie, all in, well, it was still in one piece until I sat it down. And then it fell apart. It's in 3 pieces, it looks like. maybe 4. There's definitely a fracture there and a fracture there. Not that big a deal. Well, it's not a big deal at all. But I'm going to go get the mains, and I'll be right back. Okay, there we go. Mashed potatoes need to go right there, so this needs to move over here. Cookie. I want cookie crumbs in my mashed potatoes. Not that it'll really matter, but I can be picky right now. Alright, here's our mashed potatoes right here. This stuff is super, super hot too, by the way. Score mark there. Why does that bag keep falling down on me? Alright. Very, very hot. So hot that I really... No, I can't. Ooh. Yeah, so hot. I believe that's good enough. Because I probably won't eat all of them anyway. I'm not a big fan of them. Maybe these ones will surprise me. I'm hungry. I really haven't eaten today. So, try to do that in preparation for this. I'm on somewhat of a diet anyway, but today is the day that it gets absolutely wrecked and ruined anyway, so I don't worry about it too awful much. Kind of the one day that I can do that. I was hoping my fingers would dry enough to open this up. Well, somebody else that I talked to, guys. Oh, hang on a second. Was Ruler Yak, and he is the guy that handles the stuff for the Military Ration Museum. And he was telling me he's getting ready to get the Military Ration Museum channel fired back up, and he's going to start live streaming the content of the museum as he's going through it. So if you guys would, I don't have a link to it up, but I think you guys can probably find it fairly easily. You guys go check out the Military Ration Museum channel. If there's anybody that can fact check me on the name of that channel right now, I would appreciate that. Because I'm not 100% sure that's the exact name of it. But he's hoping to get some folks over there from our community that are interested in seeing what the museum consists of, because I got a pretty decent sneak peek at it the other night, and as of right now, it looks like it's set up really nice. So, quite impressed with what he's got going on. And yeah, if you guys want to go check that out, that'd be cool. But yeah, as far as the standard military ration, let's see how Natick done with this one. I have had the brisket before. I can't remember. The last one I had was pretty old, I think. Which this one's 5 years old. And it is, I mean, I don't know if you guys can see how steaming hot that is, but it is raging hot at the moment. I got room to set this little bad boy right here on the edge. Open that up. That is so cool. The little cigars. I guess I may as well just open it up like that. That is so cool. And I immediately want to make a divot in the middle of these potatoes here, because you're never going to use and eat all that gravy with your meat, most likely, unless you're squirting it out like a toothpaste into your mouth out in the field or something. A lot of this gravy is just going to sit there. Some of it's going over here in my mashed potatoes. There we go. It's looking pretty good, I gotta say. Looking pretty good. It's kind of nice to take a break from the old food. And I thought I was taking a break when I had that poutine, but boy was I mistaken. The worst illnesses that I've had from food, or rations I should say, from rations, has been from Canadian IMPs both times. Some pretty bad run-ins. I'm just going to eat some of this brisket on its own to begin with. As you can see, kind of marbleized meat. If you're not familiar with brisket, briskets used to be a throwaway cut of meat that was not widely eaten until they kind of figured out you could slow cook it, super slow. It turns into this awesome. Christine Schwartz says, I plan on an international. I was actually going to do a Russian tonight, but I wanted to talk about MREs in general. So I got a Russian sitting here that I plan on doing. Sure, yeah. The answer to that would be yes. Anyways, down the hatch. The meat is super soft. So they cook that for a really long time, because brisket in itself is inherently a tough cut of meat. And very savory. Has that typical beef, brown gravy beef flavor. The meat itself, I mean, it's exactly what it looks like. It's a decent cut of brisket. And the only thing I would say is that for me it's a little bit salty, but I understand why it's salty. And if you were craving, if you were lacking some sodium in your diet, like if you had been sweating all day, this would absolutely hit the spot just because of the added sodium content in it. I have a feeling the sodium in this is rather high. I want to try just the garlic mash on their own and just see how garlicky they are. I'm curious. Looks like there's some little chives in there, which is nice. I didn't see those in the last ones I had. They smell very... Oh, yep. They smell very garlicky. Just that... That's exactly what I remember them smelling like. I can taste some onion in there, but the garlic is so potent and overpowering that it just kind of... It rules the entire dish. It takes over any and all flavor that's going on here, and you can pick up a little bit of onion. The mashed potato texture itself isn't too bad. It's a typical instant mashed potato type of texture, and that garlic is just out of this world. It's really, really strong. I'm gonna see if adding a little bit of the brisket and gravy will help this along any. Let's see. Wow. Surprisingly, yes. That gravy cut right through that garlic flavor. I'm quite surprised at how well that tamed down the garlic flavor, because it was so strong. Got to get out some good old butt ration for my face here. Got some of that in my mustache. Feel it. There we go. So I gotta say that brisket is probably up there. It's definitely within my top 10, and it's probably within my top 5 of U.S. rations. It is a very solid menu, and it's a staple. I mean, it's a standby. It's something that you can eat, and it's going to be consistent. It's going to be good. Let's see how a little bit of wheat snack bread adds to this, if anything at all. Get me a little chunk of brisket here. A little of that mash and gravy there. A little more gravy here if I can. And add the wheat snack bread. So the wheat snack bread in itself is sweet. It has like a sweet aftertaste. And I really picked that up a lot in that bite that I just had, which was just a little tiny bit, but it did come through quite a bit. So I think it's better off without the wheat snack bread. Now, if I was craving having a bread product mixed in with this, because usually that's how I'd want to eat this, is with a piece of bread. But the wheat snack bread's just not doing it for me. It's too sweet. Well, as you can see, well, maybe you'll be able to see, the oil coming out of this peanut butter is pretty substantial. I'm going to take a couple napkins here and see if I can't clean this off a bit. See if that'll help. I need to be able to knead it up without it being such a greasy mess. Oily mess, I should say. It doesn't look as bad as it actually is. It's worse than it looks. Every time I've ever had a peanut butter that's seeped oil out like this, I've never been able to find where the heck it's coming from. Like, look, I'm squeezing the crap out of that right now, and there's no oil or peanut butter coming out of this thing. Where did all that oil come from? Did it seep out of the seam here, maybe? Well, it would leak peanut butter out of there, though, so I don't see it on that side, and I don't see it on this side. It's weird. Weird how that happens. Because there should be peanut butter coming out of this thing right now. Look, I'm squeezing out with everything I got right now, and no peanut butter came out of there. Not that I can see. I don't know. It's weird. Nope. Thought for sure it was right in this area right here. Anybody got any idea why this thing would leak oil and then not be able to find a hole? Because that's what's happening. And this is not the first time this has happened to me either. I've had this happen to me before. With peanut butter. Alright. Actually got this knife right here from Blindside. I don't know if he's still on here or not. But give this a little knead so it doesn't come out all runny. What's our ingredients? Apple juice, corn syrup, high fructose corn syrup, water, citric acid, pectin, potassium sorbate as a preservative. So you got your sorbate in there to preserve it. Let's see what we got going on with this. And then I'm going to, you know what, let me get another couple bites of this real quick before it cools down too awful much, because it gets kind of thick and weird if you let it cool down too much. It is tasty. Honestly, this levels out the mash so well that I could just mix it all together if I wanted to, but I won't. I just looked down. I saw an advertisement for a PlayStation 5 coming out. See how that's getting really thick? I'll tell you guys this. This is something else me and him talked about. Is if these guys have to eat these things cold, you know, they're going to have a hard time with anybody who has to eat this type of food that's meant to be eaten hot, or at least warm. It's not, you know, it's not going to be all that great, even if it's a really good menu. Like, this is a really good menu, but this is one that you have to eat hot or it's going to be weird, because that gravy and stuff gets so thick. All blindside, that knife's still working great, man. It's traveled all over the place with me. Took it to New York a few times. Yep. I'm sure you've seen it on the TV show, but thank you for the super chat, my dude. That one I gave you is one of my favorite Gerber frames that I carried one like it for like 12, 13 years, or maybe 10 years, something like that. 10 to 13 years, I'm not exactly sure. But yeah, that frame, I don't know why I like that frame so well, but it served me well as well. Oh yeah. Yeah. Just dripped all over my hand. Yum. My little poodle, man. I can hear him coughing in there. He needs a walk. He needs to go on a walk. He does a lot better after I take him on a walk. Oh, I'm getting brisket all in there. I'm just going to have to leave it. You know, the bread does add a little bit of something to it that I'm liking. I'm coming back for more. Not a fan of the sweetness, but just having that starchy textured bread in there adds to, I mean, it really is a texture thing, I think. Because I'd much rather have some like white bread. With something like this. Yeah. What did I just knock down? Something. I don't know what. I don't want to do this. Like that. Yeah, it's still good and warm. And I can promise you it'll suck if I let it get cool. Recently did a hot beef sandwich during one of my ration mashups. I broke the snack bread in half. Put the potatoes down on it. And then the beef. But it wasn't brisket. It wasn't brisket. What was it? I'm trying to think what that would have been. Unless it was like beef stew. I know that looks like an awful mess. It's right there now. And it kind of is. Yeah, them potatoes without a good helping of beef, man, they're I'm gonna have some weird heartburn later. I can tell you that. Garlic gives me heartburn every time. Oh, the shredded garlic. Okay. I like the beef stew. Some of the beef stew I like, some of it I don't. Depends on the beef that's in it. But if anybody happens to come across this live stream that's getting ready to go into the military, I mean, do your best to get your meal heated up. That would be my best advice to you. Utilize the flameless ration heater that you're provided. And if you have a few minutes, like prior to your, when you know you're going to have to eat, if you have a minute or two to throw your meal in there and leave it until it's, for 20 minutes, 30 minutes even, before it's time to eat, because that flameless ration heater will keep that food hot for about 25, 30 minutes. Especially if you can just like walk away from it, or double bag it and put it in the actual outside tan MRE bag after you get it fired up and get it going. Throw it back in the bag, walk away from it, come back when it's time to eat, and your food will be hot. I would say try to heat your food up if you possibly can, because it's like night and day. I'm trying to eat this cold, which you guys will see here in a few minutes as this cools down what happens. It'll get really weird and thick. Yeah, I know. Sometimes you just don't have it. You just don't have the time, gun dog. I know. That's what I'm saying. But if you do, if you possibly can, and you think of it ahead of time, when you 10 or 15 minutes, 20 minutes before you're going to have to eat, go ahead and throw your meal in an FRH and leave it, if you can. That way it's not eating up your actual time that you have to eat also. Because some of these meals can actually be enjoyable. And this is one of them. This is definitely one of them. And honestly, just about all of them really have the potential to be enjoyable. Let's break out some peanut butter here. I just got a piece of wheat snack bread in there. While my finger's clean, I'm getting it out of there. There we go. Let's see here. It's a good old MRE peanut butter. I need to cleanse my palate before I even go in for that. Let's check out this very potent raspberry drink. It's 5 ounces shy of the recommended 20 ounces. That's not bad. It's not overpowering. It's refreshing. The raspberry flavor is artificial, but it's fruity, it's sweet. It has that weird aftertaste that all fake sweeteners have, in my opinion. But it's good. It's definitely refreshing, and it does what it's supposed to do. It gives you a nice fruity drink. Something to break up the monotony of drinking water all the time. Alright, let's see how this peanut butter is held up, even though it's obviously been ruptured and exposed to some elements at some point. Even though I couldn't find the hole in it, there had to be a hole in it. All that oil didn't just come from nowhere. Well, I think it's okay. Yeah. Typical, classic, standard, very peanutty, savory, classic military peanut butter. I don't really taste anything off with it that I can tell right now. I'm trying to really get a good read on it. I'm just going to try some out of the pouch here. Without the bread to dilute it. It might be just a little bit weird, actually. It's got a little strange, I don't know, it's a little bit of a strange mouthfeel. The flavor doesn't seem to be off very much. There is a slight oddity to it. Especially that I tried it on its, just straight out of the pouch. And it is coating my mouth. Nothing extreme or anything, that concerns me. But I do have that coating in my mouth, which I typically don't get with the peanut butter. Even though it's oily and stuff, it's not the type of oily and greasy that leaves a film in your mouth. That is leaving a film in my mouth. So I would say whatever is going on with that's fairly recent, or wasn't very extreme, I should say. Now, even though I kneaded this up, I didn't want it to leak out. It's still super runny. But that's the color that apple jelly is supposed to be. When you look in the older MREs that I've eaten, and a lot of these guys have eaten the vintage MREs, the apple jelly oxidizes and turns very dark brown. And that's just the result of the oxygen, what happens to, apples naturally. They turn brown. So does the jelly. There are no complaints from me there. That reminds me of something. What does that taste like? This tastes like something else. Apple flavored. I just dropped that in my brisket. Awesome. Awesome. Man, come on. Ha ha ha. Alright. No. Shit. I made a mess. Dropped jelly. Twice. All over the place. You know what? Look at my fingers. Like, this is moist towelette is going to come in handy right now. Save the day for me. This thing is dripping wet too. Literally dripping. See that? It's dripping wet. It's a good one. I needed a good one. Yeah, Ruler Yak. I was talking to him. He lives in Philadelphia, and I think his curfew was like 6 o'clock that they had to be in, or something like that. Typically, I'm not going to say it can't happen or anything, but typically stuff like that just doesn't happen here in West Virginia. We're usually, no matter what it is, we're usually very far behind the rest of the country time-wise, whether it be technology or political views or just anything, really. West Virginia is usually bringing up the rear. Let me see if I can get this apple jelly at least pulled over to the side, away from the brisket. Yikes. That was silly. Alright. Put this up here out of the way. I don't want it to get stained. or anything. There's my gum. That doesn't go very good with the wheat snack bread and apple jelly. I would have to say that's a big no-go on that. Still going to eat a little bit more of this peanut butter. I do think it's probably safe to eat. Put some this apple jelly on with the peanut butter, like so. Oh, hey, I caught it before it fell off. The bacon jam, you were correct. Good catch, Lando. I'm on it, buddy. That will be next. Since peanut butter is like somewhat savory, what do I have here that I could spread this with? Let's try a little teeny tiny spoon. And I'll use this little piece of snack bread that I have broken off here already. God, I put that lid on there tight. Holy cow. Ugh. It's got to go straight in the fridge after I try it. Alright. Interesting. Definitely has a different smell than I thought it would. Wait, Fred! Let me hang on a second. I'll look down there. I gotta... Yep, that's gonna have to move. There we go. Fred. In memory of those who stayed on the beaches at Normandy. Well, thank you, Fred, for that. And you're damn right, man. Those guys were American heroes. Like, there's no other word for what the guys did throughout all World War II. I'm not taking anything away from anything. But D-Day especially being what it was, as crazy as it was. Is it not going to focus? There it is. Look at that. Let me, I want to cleanse my palate real quick here. Get a good reading on this. All right, here we go with the bacon jam. Down the hatch. Whoa. Wow. That is not what I expected. Okay. So, that kind of reminds me somewhat on the lines of like a mayonnaise. I know that might sound strange, but that's the flavor I'm getting. The vinegar comes through, and then obviously the bacon. Huh. Oh, I don't think they make I don't think they make those throwback Mountain Dews anymore, do they? The original. They make a throwback Mountain Dew, but it's not the throwback of the original. But yeah, this would be a really good one, like a grilled cheese. Or this could take the place of putting bacon onto a burger. And I like Miracle Whip and mayonnaise. I'll eat both. I don't care. I don't have to pick. I'm a Miracle Whip guy. I'm a mayonnaise guy. Nah, it's either or usually. I don't think it's been a long time since I've tried to distinguish the difference between the two. But I remember always just eating whatever someone had or whatever happened to be on the sandwich that I bought or whatever, and I'm fine with that. I have an old Coke around here somewhere. I'll tell you what, I'm gonna go throw this in the fridge. I'll grab that Mountain Dew bottle that I have in here real quick. Oh, it's right here. Yep, I'm not going to be able to get to it. Okay, so this has dust and cobwebs all over it, but here you go. This is probably 10 years old now, at least. The Mountain Dew Shine. They came out with this, let me see here, it's probably got a date on it. Best by date is, looks like 2014. So, yeah, probably 6 or 7 years old. Non-alcoholic. Made with real sugar. Dew Shine. Clear citrus flavored dew. Now, we did a Mountain Dew special on the show. I don't know if it made air or not. Can't remember. But we drank an original Mountain Dew from when Mountain Dew was first put on the market. But Mountain Dew wasn't on the market for a long time. They used it. It was called Personal Blend or something like that. I can't remember the exact name for it. Personal something blend or mix, but it was strictly created to be a mixer for mixing with alcohol. That's all it was. All right, let's see what this Irish cream cappuccino is tasting like. That's really good. That has that. What's the word I'm looking for here? Does it say it on the package? Let me see if I can find it. It's a. I don't know. It doesn't say it on there, but it's like a. I don't know, like a creamy caramel mixed with a milk. You know, even though like a milk caramel, but also like with a more milky flavor. And then just that classic Irish cream flavor. It's really good. Let's see. Yeah, I knew that was going to happen. Now, these things have always baffled me, okay? Like, the chocolate chunks in here. Look. You see that? That is wet. That is like, look. That is wet chocolate. This is not your typical chocolate chip. It's not a chocolate chunk either. That is all, look at that. It's all melted chocolate. And that's how all these oatmeal chocolate chunk cookies are. They're really weird, if you ask me. Hang on, checking the super chat here, because I think I might have missed some. Okay, Fred, blindside twice. Okay, good. I'm caught up. Live chat. But yeah, these oatmeal chocolate chunk cookies. Like, I mean, there must not be very much paraffin wax in this chocolate that they use, so it doesn't set up ever. It's always like, it's like a melted Hershey Kiss or something. It's kind of what it reminds me of. But I don't know. This always fascinated me, like, 'cause I don't understand what the deal with that thing is. Oldest thing for sure I know I've ever eaten was the meat from a deer I shot in 2012, but that bit of meat was eaten in 2015 or 16, I think. Yes, it had been frozen the whole time. Well, obviously, or you couldn't have eaten it. I mean, a meat product like that, like even a hamburger with your preservatives in it that you buy at the grocery store, which trust me, they have preservatives all in it, and it's not going to last very long if it's not frozen. And we were talking about that too, me and the guy with Natick. He's like, everybody's under the impression that all these foods are just completely jam packed with preservatives, and he told me that that's what they wanted to stay away from, and that's actually to the contrary, because a lot, the packaging and the way these things are cooked and packaged, or whatever it may be, is the preservative. They try not to put extra added preservatives in there usually. It's just typically what would be in the food, in any day-to-day food. So, which we eat a lot of preservatives anyway. But he's like, he talked about the fact that they'd really try to stay away from adding any preservatives to make the food last that long. It's the way that it's cooked and the packaging. So, that's a misconception. All right, here we go. Chocolate chunk cookie. That's literally melting, falling apart. Those things are interesting to eat because they're super crunchy, and then they have this wet spot in them. And every one that I've ever had has been this way. It's like having a little wet dollop of chocolate in there. It's weird. I don't know what else to say about it. It's not what you would think of. If none of you guys have ever had one of these out there, it's hard to describe because there's nothing else that I know of that I've ever had that's like this. Because it's, like I said, it's so crunchy on the outside. Maybe they do make cookies that are like crunchy like this with like a... I'm sure they probably make something like this. It's just not occurring to me what it is. But definitely has some liquid chocolate up in there. Well, it mixes really well with that Irish cream cappuccino, I'll tell you that. Wow. That is like the perfect combination. I didn't think it'd be that good. Mmm. Plenty of chocolate in there. They're not shy about hooking it up. I will say it's a rather messy cookie to eat. It falls apart pretty bad. I remember hearing that story, Fordman. Could you imagine, like, this? I mean, what a story. I see people throw things away a lot of times if they've been in the freezer. And I don't know if any of you guys are fishermen, and like to fish and preserve your fish, but something I never even really thought about until it was done for me, actually. Went trout fishing when we were in Colorado, and the guy whose place we were fishing at, which was on the Colorado River, but he had like a place that set up there to go fishing. My brother-in-law took us there, and we caught fish. He cleaned them and then put them in baggies and filled the baggies up with water and then just froze the whole thing. So it was encased in a big old cube of ice. And that fish would keep basically forever without getting freezer burnt or anything, because that ice that was frozen around it would keep any of that, those weird moisture crystals that form inside food that makes it freezer burnt. It keeps that from happening. If it's completely encapsulated in a huge ice cube, you don't get the freezer burn that you get if you just throw like a TV dinner in the freezer, and the moisture in there draws. It's weird how it happens, but yeah, freezer burn's a whole science in itself, and it prevents that from happening, which I think is really interesting. I mean, you can't submerge everything, everything in water, I guess, but the things that you can, and they stay good like a fish. It's a really good way to keep it preserved. I gotta have another chunk of this cookie. I'm not a huge fan of these cookies, but they're really good with that Irish cream. Mm-hmm. Well, got this pack right here. This was from the meetup, courtesy of Saltycroccollectibles. I'm down to my last one. Oh, God, this smells so good. This pack smells so good, you don't even know. Unless you've ever smelled this exact smell before. Lucky Strikes even have a unique smell of their own that is hard to describe. It has a floral, light floral scent to it. It also has a somewhat honey scent to it. And then the typical aged tobacco. Oh man, I ripped this one. I'm going to have to use a paper to patch it. Anyways, there it is. Lucky Strike. Get this bad boy lit up. Use my matches. Probably only smoke about half of this one. Wow, can't believe I skipped the camel. Huh. Never do that. Forgot about my camel. Big Trips keeping it real. I smoke once in a great while. Never smoked every day. That's gross. Yeah, I hear you. I wouldn't. I'm addicted to tobacco. Quit for a while, but yeah, I'll be opening some smokes this week for sure. I'm confident in getting all the research done that I need to have done for this week, and it's finally coming together. Look, it took me all week to find a usable number for Natick. That's no bullcrap. I called Monday through Thursday, different numbers that I found online that I asked people for, and none of them were any good. All disconnected. A couple of them just rang and rang, but most of them just were disconnected. Must have been old numbers. And then I'll say finally the number that ended up getting me through to Natick is one that I got from Ruler Yak. That the one that does the military ration museum. Let me see if let me pull that up while I'm standing here talking. I'm trying to read the chat at the same time. Let's see here. Let's see. Military ration museum. There we go. Ah, there it is. There it is. There it is, guys. It's called the Military Ration Museum. He's only got 105 subscribers. Let's see if we can make that go up. So he's got 104 other than me, because obviously I'm subscribed. And like I said, he's going to start doing live streams on here. Let's see. Looks like we got 3 years ago. Those are all from the Doswell meetup, which was almost 4 years ago, actually. October will be 4 years. And I know I'm on there. Oops. Let me see if I can find anything interesting on here. He's unboxing one of those Scandinavian rations, I believe is what that is. Steve brought that, I believe. Let me see if I can. There he is. There he is. I got the sound turned off, but there he is. Live streaming has came a long ways since the days of the first ration meetup. Let's see. Let me check day one. This is day one. First military ration symposium. Let's see. I was in a wheelchair at this point. I don't know. Oh, look, there I am. Rolling by in a wheelchair. Yeah. Cool. There's Steve. Ollie. Kent. Kenton is there. Sean, which is Ruler Yak. So, yeah. Pretty cool. JW Speaker, I'm one of those 105 subscribers. Cool. Yeah, man, you guys go over there, hit him up with a subscribe. Oh, look at there. He's already went up to 109. Look at that. Well, thank you, guys. I appreciate you going over there. Yeah. Yeah, I probably don't get up any closer to the camera. Oh, yep, here I'm standing with crutches right here. God, I was like 65 or 70 pounds lighter right there. I was in bad shape at that point, actually. Really bad shape. Oh, we're all kind of like doing for the camera thing. Yeah, let it focus. That's supposed to be like a still shot. That's funny. Bob didn't get in on that, though, which sucks. Oh, yeah, it's a Yugo. That's right, JW. Yeah. Yep. Those things all suck, by the way. All those Yugo rations. There's some really expensive remakes on eBay. I don't understand why they're $100 plus shipping a piece on eBay, because they're literally nothing special. They're just crap that someone threw together to be like the old ration, and it's like a typical repro, reproduction. But they're charging $100 plus shipping for those. I know. I think Art and Nathan both did one of those. I think Art got a couple of them and sent Nathan one, and they both did a like comparison breakdown of it. Yeah, I don't know. It's pretty cool, man. Looking back at this, but there will be more videos coming to this channel in I would say the next week or so, is what he was telling me. So definitely go and subscribe. Oh, look at that. Up to 115. Boom. Yeah, buddy. Up 10 from whenever I first clicked on here, which I'd say a couple people had already went over there and subscribed. So he's up at least 10. We know that for sure. Oh, I ain't even thumbed that video up. Look at that. It's thumbed up now. Yeah, that's cool, man. Thank you guys for going over there and subscribing to the Military Ration channel. Hopefully, hopefully, you guys get to see some really cool stuff in the next week or so. Um, like I said, I got a sneak peek. Did a video call with him yesterday. Yesterday. Yeah, it would have been yesterday. Yeah, so I did a video call with him. Might have been yeah, it was last night, or no, maybe it was the night before. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Had a video call with him. Got to see some of what's set up, and I'll be the first to tell you guys, he has got some really cool stuff, interesting stuff that a lot of us have probably never even seen. He was telling me he had egg cartons, World War II egg cartons with the egg separators still in it, which are just like these little perforated cardboard pieces, and those are always destroyed or gone if you even, which I have seen a couple egg cartons come up, or egg crates I should say, egg crates, but the dividers are always gone, and he's got that. He's got a bunch of empty cases, and he's got a bunch of actual cases too. He had never seen a food pack at cold weather though. Um, like I was saying, it's one of those rations that kind of flew under the radar. Not that there's not a bunch of those out there, because there's quite a few out there, I'm sure, that were prototypes, but this is not a prototype. The food pack at cold weather was actually in production. We discussed that as well. That ration was actually in production with that nomenclature, with that actual name, for some period of time. I don't know how long. Wasn't very long in 2004, but it was made for some short amount of time in 2004, and we don't know exactly why they changed it over to meal cold weather, because it does kind of make sense with the food packet long range patrol to have a food packet cold weather. Kind of makes sense, but it does also, it's a lot easier to say MCW or meal cold weather, and I'd say that's probably really the main reason why the MCW is called what it is, because it's just easier to say. It's easier to break down into its, 3-letter breakdown to MCW. I said I was going to save some of this, and I've smoked almost all of it. Now, pretty much roached out. Yeah, I wish I had some pictures or something to show you guys of what it's looking like right now, but hopefully you'll get to see it soon enough. That's the plan. And I'll stay on him and keep reminding him that folks want to see what he's got going on. And like I was saying, he's gonna be doing some kind of live streams with kind of showing the museum items in the museum, and I think he's just going to be going through and logging things and live streaming while he goes through things. So whenever I find out that that's going to happen, I'll make a post on my channel and I'll let everybody know that he's going to be doing the live stream. That way we can go over there and check it out together, because I would say, and he's super well informed on rations in general. He's got a ton of knowledge, and he's great to talk to, and great to he knows his stuff. So it won't be hard to pick up some good knowledge while you're over there. I'm sure his live streams will be good. I think he might be doing them on Twitch though. I'm gonna have to talk him into trying to double stream them, one on Twitch and one on YouTube at the same time. I know you can do that, and I'm sure he can figure that out, because he's really good with computers. just ordered from them, Fred. Who we talking about? Uh, Got that right, Orlando. Been different route on the video. Fodder. What I got should be pretty interesting. A natural progression from ration cold weather down to meal cold weather. I don't think it was a natural progression. B Temple. By the way, go check out B Temple's channel. Link top of my description. Should be right there, I think. Got him moved up there. Getting rations from overseas is a nightmare. Yeah. It just takes time. You just got to be willing to wait. To be quite honest, I mean, and you also got to be willing to take a total loss for whatever you spend. So most rations from overseas are on the more expensive side, so they're cheaper than buying them here, though. But they are usually a guarantee if they're already here. So, well, 99% chance it's going to, you're going to get what you order if you order it from someone in the U.S. But other than that, I'd like to do a field test of a K Repro, but I can't eat canned chicken chunks without hot sauce. They have other menus, dude. Fordman. There's other menus other than canned chicken chunks. I know one guy does a can of cheese on the K ration. What else have I saw? I think somebody does a can. I'm sure someone does a can of tuna, and there was another one. I can't remember which one it was though. I've got 2 of the new huge Dutch Arctic rations on the way. Hopefully I didn't know they were making new Dutch Arctics. I thought it was a sad move when the Dutch went from those huge. I have one of the old ones. The one I have it has a really interesting backstory and travel story, I should say. Steve had it at one point. He got it from someone, I can't remember who. And then it ended up in Rocky Rob's hands. And then it ended up back in Steve's hands. And then Steve traded it off to somebody else. And Bob ended up with it. And then Bob ended up sending it to me. And after I took a good look at that thing, like, I'm going to be willing to bet about half of it's not edible. Like a lot of the side stuff looked pretty rough. Because that thing had literally traveled all over the country numerous times through the postal service. So you can imagine the type of life that it had led up until the point that I got it and it finally settled down. But yeah, the backstory behind that's really interesting. Me and Steve were talking on the phone one night, and we actually figured out that was the same ration. And right now, that Dutch Arctic's probably pushing 15 years old. Because I think when I got it, it was 12 years old. And I'd say I probably had it about pushing 3 years now. And it would be a huge review to do. Very, very, very inclusive. Like, it's just a huge amount of food. But when the Dutch moved from those large sealed bag Arctic rations down to the ones that were in the Ziploc bags, they lost a lot of what they had going on. They were really something special whenever they were the large sealed bags. And it sounds like from what B. Temple's talking about that they went back to something similar to that, which I think is a great move. Because those rations, well, in the ration community anyways, were very sought after. And they were a hit with anybody who tried one. I think RC Gusto has a review of one of those out there. Somebody else. B. Temple, do you have a review of an old Dutch Arctic? I can't remember who all's got one up. I saw one of Steve's videos of an original K ration, and the main was canned cheese with bacon. I'll bet that would have been pretty tasty back in the day, but it sure wasn't when Steve opened it. Yeah, no, it would have been just a black block of crap, most likely. Not that there aren't some out there that still resemble food. There are some K rations out there that are in really, really good shape for their age, that if you open up the main, it still might resemble a little bit of what the main was supposed to look like. Not exactly, but similar. Especially the cheese one. The cheese one has the best chance of holding up, to be 100% honest. That's the one that, if any of them's going to be going to still look like food. It's going to be the cheese. So, but yeah, somebody does do a can of cheese in a K ration reproduction. I'm sure my I'm sure my grandpa ate plenty of those, plenty K rations, and plenty of old C rations too. The original C rations being World War II. I'm sure he had plenty of those whenever he was in doing the type of job that he was doing, using dogs. I would say he got stuck with eating field rations on numerous occasions. But yeah, it's that was an interesting story about the people that ended up starved. They were starving to death and froze or thawed out some frozen woolly mammoth and ate it. I think that's super cool because how old would that meat? That meat would have been. I don't know. I don't know. I can't say how old because I don't know how long the woolly mammoth's been extinct, but a long time, a really long time. I like that you brought that story up. It'd been a long time since I had even thought about that. V Temple, you said you had one but traded it to Don Juan. Okay. Yep, yep. Genuine cotton canvas treated with some cameline. What are we talking about, Fred? Would be a bummer to see that ration after getting manhandled like your Dutchman did. Oh yeah, yeah. I need to dig that thing out. It's pretty rough. That Dutch Arctic I have is pretty rough. They left Europe 3 weeks ago, so who knows where it is? Yeah, no doubt. B Temple. It's could be in the middle of the ocean. It could be on the coast of Canada right now. Could be sitting in customs for all you know. Uh, yeah, you can get roast beef in the German rations. Roast beef. I got a half a tent from them Russians. I got 2 of the new huge. Okay, I read that. I'm still looking for an original Soviet plush. I have no idea what you're talking about, Fred. Custom butchered my RCIR. Oh yeah, they'll do that. I hate to hear that, man. Son, Rachael, that sucks that they got your French, but they're definitely good at that. If you can get anybody to go with a shipping method that isn't going to end up in USPS hands, so if you can go with DHL or uh, FedEx or UPS, then I personally, I think you have a better chance of actually getting something. I probably shouldn't be saying this on a live stream right now because who knows, customs could be watching this and be like, oh, yeah, well, I hope not. I really hope not. Learn something new, so it's a food packet cold weather or a food packet. What now? Learn something new. So it's a food packet cold weather or a food packet cold weather. Yeah, there is a food packet cold weather. Yeah, I from what we talked about with the discussions that I've had with both MRE and Natick, as far as the food packet cold weather is concerned, both of those people that I spoke with over the phone at both of those entities were thinking that it was something that really just broke down into the simple language, simplifying it versus it being just just a little bit longer, having to say food packet cold weather, which breaks down to FPCW versus MCW. MCW just rolls off the tongue a lot easier, and I would say that's really the main reason why it changed, because the bag didn't really change, the collar didn't really change or anything. The components are all the same from the food packet cold weather over to the meal cold weather. So I'm going to try to determine if there's any actual difference between a food packet cold weather other than the name and the meal cold weather. If there's a component difference, I would like to find out if there is, and if there was maybe a designation difference or a difference in contract, whatever it may have been. I'm trying to find out exactly what exactly the reason is that they swapped over, because once something like that goes into production, for them to stop, and they'd have to change out the dies that they're printing the bags with, change out the contract, because the contract is for food packet cold weathers, not meal cold weathers. So they'd have to do all that. That, or this was just a very small test trial run, maybe. I don't know. That's what I'm trying to find out. Rachel Sunshine, the only thing I have left is the fruit nougat and cereal bar. Is that they took everything except that? What? Who disliked the naval rations? What now? Probably I think you're talking about your grandpa. I've had good luck sending to the U.S. so far. Nothing I've had sent has been liberated. No doubt. Knock on wood. I'm just going to go ahead and take care of that for you. Knock on wood. Just for a second time, just for clarification. And we ate the fruit nougat today. It's so good. Yeah, the fruit nougat bars are good. I like them. They do have a bit of a kind of a paint flavor to them. They have a slightly chemical flavor. Every single one of the French RCIR fruit nougat bars that I've ever had kind of had that almost basically tastes like what latex paint smells like, is similar to what they taste like. The mammoths got held up at custom, James says. Cosmoline, the stuff they pack rifles in. Oh, okay. Alright, Fred. Yeah, they trashed everything, saying it's violated Endangered Species Act. What? That's a first. I've never heard that one before. Endangered Species Act, huh? $80. I assumed it was more than one. I hope that it was more than one, Rachel, that they robbed, because you could almost get 3 RCIRs if you buy them overseas for $80, like about $90 if you shop around. Generally speaking, I try not to violate endangered species. I have to admit that. Yeah, same here, buddy. I am a animal lover. Yeah, if they even took the brew pack and the stove and, well, I mean, heck, even most of the food, the crackers, come on. Like, there's nothing in there other than maybe the mains, maybe a pate that they won't even allow. Like, most of the stuff that's in there is allowed. Kusha has the plash. I have no idea what I can't pronounce that. Plash, plac, Palak, Palak, Pox. I can't say it. The UK ORP nougat bars are actually made in France. Ah, so they're the same thing then. The ORP ones and the RCIR ones are. I always thought they were very, very similar, if not the same. Uh, I have the customs. I'll send you it. I'll send it to you. What is it now? Other than an IMP, the foreign rations I want to try the most is the JSDF Type 1 rations that still come in the metal cans. Huh. Yeah, the ones that come with the can opener leaded attached to the top, soldered to the top. If that's, I assume, is the ones you're talking about. Hi all, kiddo's 5-year-old birthday, so I missed it. Today's my son's birthday, Viper. Is today actually your son's birthday? My son was born on D-Day today, so interesting. Sent you a replacement Aussie food shovel. Ah, if custom steal it, I'll be asking questions. No doubt, dude. No doubt, man. You didn't have to do that, man. Thank you. What's your son's name, Viper? The reason why they confiscated it, I mean, sorry for the clarification. Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah, I'd like to see that. Email that to me. I want to see that. Endangered Species Act. That is, what was it? Like, well, I mean, even ostrich, like, it couldn't have been, they're not endangered, are they? Oh, yeah. Aletha, that, yeah, definitely, I gotta say, this is, I'm really stoked about trying this out. It's going to be interesting. I want to track down exactly how old this is, but I have a feeling it's going to be perfect since this is a nice little air sealed can. Although I will say that the coffee that we what was it? I'm having a brain fart. It was an automat coffee, but I can't remember the name of the automat. Anyways, that automat coffee that we had on the show had a lot of chicory in it, or it had went really off, and it was really odd. Uh, Coffee does not last forever. That's something I found out. If that was all coffee and not a lot of chicory, which it wasn't labeled very well because that can that we had on the show was from 1942 or 1944. I can't remember, 42 or 44, and we what we could track down about it and what we figured out about it was they were using a lot of chicory in that place in that automat, and we think that that's probably the type of coffee it was. It was, well, not really coffee, more less just chicory, and it has a very weird flavor after 70 some years. My dad was born in 1917, so it could be from anywhere, and it was kept in a climate controlled area, so it should be okay. I hope so. Yeah, definitely. That yeah. If you guys seen that episode with that chicory coffee with the from the automat, that can was beautiful, absolutely beautiful, and that's why I was so adamant about wanting to open that thing from the bottom, and all we had was one of those stupid can openers that cuts around the rim, and that can was so well made and so thick on the bottom that that can opener was just not cutting through it, and we ended up damaging the can trying to get it open. So it didn't. I mean, it was still presentable, but just not like I would have liked for it to have been. That's actually a really funny kind of question there because my son's actually talked about reincarnation before Rod Garage every day. Um, I will ask him that, but you know, you never know. You never know. Some of the things that I've seen online, obviously, that's the only way I ever learned about people that claim to be reincarnated. But some of the stories that are out there are absolutely fascinating, and they're the amount of detail and the amount of, well, convincing that these people have done to their past life family that they actually took them in. This happened on two different occasions that I saw stories of, and the people's past families took them in as their past family member. Like that to me is amazing, and I would love to be able to figure out, you know, the people that are in those positions. If that's 100% legit, which I think it is, then they know that there's something after we pass. And it's interesting to think that reincarnation's a possibility. I don't think anything's impossible, to be quite honest. I to rule anything out would be kind of silly at this point. That's actually better now that it's cold. I mean, it's not cold, but it's room temperature, so it's pretty cool. All right, guys. I think I'm going to wrap this one up. I got to say a huge thank you to Aletha and Jay, and a huge thank you to Miss Rachel Sunshine for sending along this cool stuff. And keep a lookout for this and one of these in a future live stream. And also, got to try one of these on one of the live streams. I think I'm going to have what I prefer to do with this would be to go out and I don't own a percolator as of right now. All I own is a coffee pot, and I would like to use a percolator with this and only make one serving, which this is, I think there's 6 servings in here if I'm not mistaken. Is that what it said? This 6 cup size, yeah. So 6 6-ounce cups, so it'd be 36 ounces that this will make. So I'll probably make 1 8-ounce cup, or maybe 2. I might make 2. That would be half the can. That's 16 ounces. So, wait a minute. No, it'd be a little bit less than half the can. Sorry. It'd be 36. So yeah, it'd be a little less than half the can to make 2 ounces. Or 2 cups, I mean. But yeah, I've got to look into this and see. That's the first thing I'm going to do after I get everything cleaned up. And before I take off, I was talking about how this would get. You can see that it even. Let me see that? It's like jelly now. It's like very jellified because I guess most likely because of some of the fat that's in there, and it gets like sticky. And I mean, the gravy's actually still pretty runny, to be quite honest. But the meat, I mean, it just gets this slimy texture to it when it's cold. And the mashed potatoes, let's just be honest, trying to eat those things would be, trying to eat those cold would be rough. So at the very least, if any of these folks that are going in the military are listening, throw these in your BDU pockets or something to where your body heat will raise this up to at least 90 95 degrees. Have it right against you so that you can get that heated up a little bit, so it won't taste like you're eating it at 70 degrees or whatever it may be, 65, whatever, or even colder. If you're in a colder situation, definitely try to get them heated up as much as you can, if at all possible. I think that's the main key to making meal ready to eat food into something that's not, in some cases, not so good, and some other cases not bad, but still could be a lot better if it was heated up. So definitely try to get it heated up if you can, because you'll have a much better experience. And I know that's not always going to be possible. So if you can, just throw it up next to your skin and let it warm up that way, because obviously that it'll even be better that way than not doing it at all. Yeah, this is super cool. Now that's going on the display case. It's going to go in the case, actually in the case. And then again, I might want it out to where I can get to it. But yeah, man. Thank you guys for sending this stuff along. Super cool. Can't wait to try these out. Twin Bing in a glass. Twin Bing in a glass. This one actually does make me want to drink a beer. Like that. That'll make me want to drink a beer. And I always say a huge thanks to my Patreons too while I'm on here. That's the one place I try to give back before anywhere else. Those folks that are over there usually have been over there and stuck with me for a while, and I try to send things out to those folks that have been on Patreon. I went through the list a couple times over there. I'm getting ready to go through it again. It'll probably be the end of this month when I'm sending out stuff for Patreon. So if you're over there on my Patreon, look out for that. Try to round up everybody's addresses right before I do that. Yeah, it was. Thank you so much, Aletha and Rachael, both. You guys, super cool stuff. I meant to eat some of the stuff that CT that trucker sent to me. But honestly, after eating all this actual good food, I was pretty full, and I didn't eat really anything at all today. So this one meal, this will be my only meal for today. So I'm going to try not to snack on anything, because that's where my diet gets off track, if snacking too often, and especially late at night. So I'm going to stay away from that. Any snacks I have will be during the day. And I do, like, I've got so many cool snacks here that you folks have sent me. So I want to go through those and get it earlier in the day. So I got a frog in my throat. But all right, guys. Excuse me. Thank you guys for tuning in, hanging out, listening to my blabbering on about talking to Natick, and talking to a little bit about talking to the folks at MRE I'll, opening up the boxes, checking out the meal. Everything was good. Everything was a good time tonight. I feel like I got some good information out there for you guys, and I hope you guys did learn a little something. And Fordman diet's a 4-letter word. Yeah, I know. It's definitely a 4-letter word for me, buddy. Yes, sir. But yeah, I hope you guys got to pick up a little bit of information tonight. Would be good, as long as I can throw out enough information to one person to learn something. I feel like I'm accomplishing something. So if I've done that, then I've done my job. I feel like. I appreciate you guys hanging out until the end of the live stream. Thank you guys so much again for tuning in, and look out. Definitely be on live stream next Saturday, unless something crazy happens. And I usually try to keep the Saturdays consistent. And if I can slide one in between, I'll try to do that. It doesn't happen very often. But yeah, thank you guys so much. And I guess really all I got left to do is say thank you all for watching. And I'll see you on the next live stream. Later.